I'm Jody Dahmer.
I'm Ryan Corso.
And we're Beargrass Thunder in Roland Street Alley for another project update. We're here in Roland Street Alley just to show off what's been going on in the past 3 months and just some of the concept pieces that other neighborhoods can really emulate and try to copy in their own area. If we look over here, this is what a lot of neighbors thinks is normal, and this is clear cutting a space over and over again every single week and mowing. And you can see here, there's a lot of space, a lot of agriculture that's not really being used for anything other than grass. And so our concept here in Roland Street is, what if we were able to feed the community that lives around here?
And the bugs.
And the bugs, because not many bugs can eat grass, and if there's no bugs eating the grass, there are no birds eating the bugs. So it's really important that we have a neighborhood that actually functions as part of an ecosystem. Otherwise, we're just grass farming.
We're monoculture.
If you look over here, this used to be all mowed. And so here's what we ended up doing. We were able to get 5 3-year-old spice bush to plant in the alley. That's a $500 value that we were able to get donated to the space. And so we're very, very lucky to have community partners that are ready and willing to help out to try to make the space more beautiful.
And the reason that we are so excited about the spice bush is because spice bush in particular feeds one of our favorite kind of butterflies.
Yes, the spice bush swallowtail is a native Kentucky butterfly, but it only lays eggs on this plant. This plant has a compound in it that makes other predators not really want to eat the caterpillars. And so by laying eggs on this bush, it basically is kind of a safeguard against predation for the young. And in between the spice bushes, we wanted to see what would grow. So we ended up actually getting plants donated by Idlewild Butterfly Farm. And so these are cabbage, these are tomatoes, we've planted peppers down the alley, and you can see these tomatoes are just now starting to get ripe. And before, this was all grass. So we really want to show that by just taking small steps into a space, you can do so many amazing things.
There's one.
So this is an egg from the spice bush swallowtail butterfly. And if it's allowed to hatch, then we got a caterpillar. And then once the caterpillar turns into a butterfly, we got even more biodiversity in a space where it didn't exist just 3 months ago.
There's no reason that the city can't be part of the biodiversity rather than just the suburbs.
So here we have some chili peppers. And the chili peppers have a really interesting flower because the flower is actually upside down. And so once the chili pepper gets fertilized, then you got a little pepper plant. Many people buy their produce from a grocery store, so they have a idea of what a vegetable looks like, right? But if you look at this, you see these yellow flowers? This is actually lettuce that's been allowed to bolt or flower. And the reason we're doing that is because if we're able to get these pollinated, then we got seeds.
You can actually see the pollen on my finger there.
And if these are allowed to seed, then I can cut these off and give the seeds to other neighbors and grow this entire concept almost for free. Once you have a plant, you can get the seeds from it and be able to spread that.
Yes. Oh, more spice bush babies. Look, here's more. We found eggs on just about
every single one.
Almost every single one. I think as we went down towards the end of the building, there was more shade and more butterflies did lay more eggs. Here's even more. Look, bang. Wow, that's amazing. It's like little tiny it's like finding pearls inside oysters.
And so this is interesting. We were never able to get back here because, of course, there's a chain link fence. But you can see this is all pavement.
Yeah, nature will always prevail.
So these are horsetails that are literally growing up through cracks in the asphalt. So I never want to hear from a metro government person that this concept cannot work in the city.
Yeah.
Because if stuff can grow in asphalt, it can sure as hell grow in grass.
Plants can grow in the city. We spend a lot of money and a lot of our taxpayer money mowing all of these outside spaces. Business owners spend their money mowing, and Residents spend their money mowing,
And if you think about space, why are we forcing everybody in the city to have to own a weed whacker or have to own mowing equipment?
Why are you growing grass? Is it because you're expected to? Is it because you like the way it looks, which is okay? Yards are sort of, can be important family aspects that people use and enjoy. But is that what you want to be doing? Is that the time you want to be spending outside? Could native grasses kind of take place of that and be lower maintenance than what you're currently doing?
Because what we do not want is for our seniors and our children in our community to have to be forced by the government to go outside every week in the heat and the humidity, literally just to walk around and cut their grass and maybe get heat exhaustion doing it.
Exactly. There's no reason that they shouldn't have the choice and the option to plant whatever they like and choose their form of beauty in their own yard.
Because after all, it's your land, right? So here we're going to be doing some weeding and mulching in the future. What Beargrass Thunder really is about is letting the community members in the space be part of the plan, be part of the concept.
So we're all just about trying to get the people and the residents that are on these alleys and in this community to enjoy their community space and kind of utilize it for what it is. It always comes with the permission of private landowners, but we're here at Beargrass Thunder all about making those connections so that you guys can enjoy your own community.
Every alley is going to be different. This concept might not work in other places, and it's at
this looks very different than what we did at Kevin's.
Yes, and so we really hope to just, by showing these concept pieces, again, this was all done by donations. We are not being paid to do this. We were able to use the contacts that we had in order to get the plants, and no one expected this to work. Like, when I told Metro Council about this, when I was talking to government representatives, they really had no idea why I was spending so much time and effort to literally plant lettuce and crops into an area that they never expected would work.
So things can take root in unexpected places.
So everything you see here in the middle, we are actually tomato, lettuce, bok choy. We really took a lot.
Also, the kind of interesting concept of this is, what are the weeds? Some of this is grass, which I could suppose would be weeds, but then also there's the plants here that we did plant purposefully that are benefiting from these other plants. But even if we didn't plant some of these other plants purposely, they're all kind of enjoying each other in a little ecosystem here.
Now, there are some invasives that, like this, you can see here, this is a tree of heaven. And it's reseeded because there is a tree of heaven directly across the street here. So
so birds poop.
Birds poop.
Wind blows.
Yeah.
We got to do our best to try to keep it native and to do what we can. But again, this is volunteerism, so we're just doing our best. I do, like to challenge the idea of which is the weeds. What's the weeds here?
The only thing that defines a weed is literally in a rule book. And it's at the enforcement of the code officer. And
because is it too tall? Because some of the grasses are very tall, and I understand that. But here's the thing: the other tallest plants are tomato plants, and those were purposefully planted. So were those the weeds?
And if it can feed a community, is it really a weed? If it can feed the ecosystem, is it really a weed? Is it the chickweed because it has the word weed in the name?
I mean, it's the only ground cover that it has right now. Otherwise, the ground would be baking. We've all been out in the weather lately. It's been very, very hot.
And by having the shade here, it actually helps protect the roots of the crops.
And all the roots that are in here can absorb and help prevent water from pooling in the alley as well. We all know that flash flooding is a huge problem here in Louisville.
So here we have some kale and some milkweed that we planted in the middle. We wanted to see what kind of native flowers we could get.
So we kind of had some flash rain, exactly the stuff we expect here in Louisville. If you can see the downspout, all the water coming off here, and you can already see all of the water pooling and draining straight down here.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we already have flash flooding, but think about what it would look at without the root systems that are there.
Yeah,
all of those plants are sucking up all of that water. And they're helping to prevent this even as we see it happening.
And if you spray Roundup on this space, what's going to happen when it rains?
All of the roots are dead. There's going to be nothing to keep that in at all.
And
it's all going to hit and run straight off. Where do the chemicals run? When they run down the drain, Joey, where do did the chemical school go?
Fairgrass Creek.
The creek!
But it's completely legal now in Louisville to do that to a space. And every downstream neighborhood is affected by your choices. All right, guys, well, again, thank you so much for watching our update on Roland Street Alley concept. We really think that this concept can benefit other neighborhoods. This, again, is a concept piece, so, it's not going to be a permanent space, but we really wanted to make this a teachable moment about how we can just make our alleys just a little bit better.
It's about what you want in your alleys and,
This is about really what can take root in your neighborhood.